So yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, Rishi Sunak, the greatest Prime Minister of all time, I think most people watching right now will agree with me when I say that, was involved in a GB News Q&A event, and this is where voters were given the chance to ask some of the most important questions, some of the most important topics to them. They wanted to know things about migration, even the LGBT was spoken about. Rishi Sunak came out and said biological sex is important and it shouldn't be controversial to say so, as we all know. But let's just be real, even with this event to try and connect with voters, and I mean try, his time is well and truly up. The only issue is nobody is going to be able to take his place before the election, and that means Labour, unfortunately, it looks like will win, and that just fills everybody with so much joy. I just can't contain myself at the thought of it. Boy. However, there was one part of this event that was absolutely amazing. It's the only part worth talking about, where a brave audience member steps up and questions Rishi Sunak on a topic, COVID, the vaccine, that even still to this day, people are silenced and suppressed for talking about it in a way that you shouldn't be, right? Not only out in public, we all know people in our lives, as soon as you start questioning the narrative, they get a little bit on edge. They tell you, wait, don't talk about it like that. You're crazy, you're this, you're that. They don't want to hear it and they want you to be silent about it. But also on social media, you say one word associated with the whole thing, the algorithm does its thing and will suppress and shadow ban a video, which will most likely happen to this one. So to counter that, if you could, make sure to leave a like rating, comment on this video, and tune in till the end, because I know you're absolutely going to love what is to come. But a brave audience member who was injured by the CV19 needle, can I even say it like that? Who knows? I'm trying to avoid as many words as I can for algorithm issues. But he scolds Rishi Sunak and says, I know other people that have also been injured by this thing. Why have the people who told us to do the right thing left us to suffer? When are you gonna do the right thing around this situation? And you can tell Rishi Sunak was completely thrown off by this question, because where do you see it being spoken about? You never see a high-profile politician being asked questions on this issue, and conveniently, this will be the part the mainstream media will leave out. They won't speak about it, they'll act like it never happened, they'll speak about every other thing that was spoken about, but not this part. And if they do mention it somehow, some way, they'll end up labeling people conspiracy theorists, anti this, anti that, even though they're giving their own personal experiences, because that is what they do. They're shameless. They don't care. They will twist the narrative as much as they can. And Rishi Sunak's response to this question is not great whatsoever, in my opinion. He came off looking really bad and just gave a robotic political answer as usual. But enough talking. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this one.
Hi, Rishi Sunak. I've got so much to say, but such little time. My name is John Watt, and I'm one of the COVID vaccine injured in this country. I want you to look into my eyes, Rishi Sunak, and I want you to look at the pain, the trauma, and the regret I have in my eyes. We have been left with no help at all. Not only am I in here that's vaccine injured, there's another man over there whose life's been ruined by that COVID-19 vaccine. I know people who have lost legs, amputations. I know people with heart conditions like myself, Rishi Sunak. Why have I had to set up a support group in Scotland to look after the people that have been affected by that COVID-19 vaccine? Why are the people who are in charge, who told us all to do the right thing, have left us all to rot and left me and the thousands and the tens of thousands in this country to rot? Rishi Sunak, look me in the eye. When are you going to start to do the right thing? The vaccine damage payment scheme is not fit for purpose. In Scotland right now, according to the yellow card system, there are over 30,000 people that have had an adverse reaction to that vaccine and 200 deaths.
John, thank you very much indeed for your question.
It's time for you to start doing the right thing, Mr. Rishi Sunak and the rest.
You've made a really strong point, John. Prime Minister.
Yeah, John, well, I'm very sorry to hear about your personal circumstances, and you said someone over here also seems to have suffered by a similar thing. Now, obviously, I don't know about the individual situation that you're in.
Silenced, Rishi. We're silenced.
Well,
on
I don't.
Social media and everything.
Okay.
We are silenced. We are the most silenced people in this country.
Silence in the press because my story in the press
Okay.
had to go to the government for comment and they made me
Forgive-
take all the stuff out.
Forgive me both.
I know, I'm happy. No one.
Okay.
John, no one is saying. No one's saying you are.
Yeah, okay.
I've lost my house, my wife, and a successful career.
And sir, you raised some very valid points, I'm sure. What I've got to say is, though, we haven't got you on microphone, and as you know, we've got to get through this. I'm sure we can raise your points with the Prime Minister at a later date. But in the meantime, Prime Minister, if you could cover the issue.
I'm very happy to. So look, there is a vaccine compensation scheme that's in place, as you alluded to, in the NHS. Obviously, everyone individually will work through their cases. It's difficult for me to comment on anyone's individual case. I'm sure you'll appreciate that. I'm very happy to go and look at the cases, and I'm sure you'll get them to the team here. I mean, I'm very saddened and shocked to hear that you've been silenced by anybody. That is surprising to me, so please do get your details to Stephen and the team, and I will happily take that away. Of course, you should be able to speak about your experience, what's happened to you, and as I said, we have a compensation scheme in place for that, and I'll make sure that we're working through that. Obviously, I think you'll appreciate it's hard for me to comment on your specific circumstances, just not knowing them, and those things are...
Forgive me, sir, we haven't got a microphone like this, so our viewers and listeners won't be able to
I think look, the last thing I'd say is, we went through a pandemic like everyone else. At the points when it came to the vaccine, those decisions were always taken on the basis of medical advice from our medical experts to tell us as politicians, who are obviously not doctors, about how best to roll out the vaccine, what was in the public health interest, the priority order, how that should be done, who should be eligible. That was something that the doctors recommended on, and that's something that we followed. Now, obviously, if there are individual circumstances which haven't worked out, then that's why we have the compensation scheme in place, and I'll make sure that we follow up on your cases.
OK, Prime Minister, thank you. Gents, both of you, do give us your details. We will get that to the Prime Minister, and as he said, he will, I'm sure, look at that for you.
Man, oh man. This dude here, again, what a brave audience member. It surprises me Rishi Sunak will stand there and say, I'm surprised that you were silenced about this. Are you crazy? On a real, your government was part of the silencing. The government suppressed people from talking about this issue. Of course you knew people were silenced about it. And he speaks about, we went off the advice from medical experts. You didn't listen to the other ones, did you? Governments didn't listen to the other ones. In fact, the other ones who had the other side of the issue were also banned and cancelled on social media. Social media companies were told to suppress opinions that went against the narrative. But if it was 100% safe and effective, as they kept on claiming on every single news broadcast, as we all saw, why was a compensation scheme set up? And I'm just asking the questions here. I'm just asking the questions, YouTube. These are the sort of questions, debates I want to see posed to these politicians. I want to know if they took it. I want people to ask Rishi Sunak, hey, did you take this? And it's not even just the needle. It's, the lockdowns, the masks, everything everybody had to go through. We need answers on this issue. It's a big part of our lives, and it's a big part people were suppressed for. And yet now we're just supposed to act like it never happened and move on from it. And the fact people have been injured from something that they were constantly told is okay, man. And yet you put this in front of people. You say to people who still believe everything the mainstream media says, and they'll call you crazy. They'll still say, no, you're telling lies, even though people are giving their own personal experiences. Some people will say, well, why did they not say no? Why did they say, you know what, I'm actually not going to take this? If people were so concerned about it, why didn't they just sit back and move away from it? Well, some people were forced to take it. They were backed into a corner. They would either lose their incomes, lose connections with family members. Imagine that. Being forced to take something and you could potentially lose your job over it. And now we've all just gone back to normal, and it doesn't even matter if you have taken it or not. Man, so many questions that need answering, and these politicians need to be held accountable. But leave your thoughts down below, ladies and gentlemen, on this. What are your thoughts on John Watt stepping up and giving his experience, speaking not for just himself, he was speaking for everybody who had been affected by it. I'd like to know. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.